Shalom. I should have loaded it up earlier. That way you guys could get on faster. But we're doing good. Praise the Almighty. Thank the Almighty for today. Thank the Almighty for today. What else we got? Praise the Almighty for Zooms last night. It's beneficial. Get some laughter, get some joy. It's always a blessing to, when you go through the day, got to work for these unbelievers. Having to be around like-minded people, serving the Most High, and talk about our different struggles, talk about the things we're going through. That's always a major blessing. Even a lady trying to seek truth, going through the old employment, keeping the Sabbath problem that all the young believers go through. But after a while, whether you being laid off or quitting your job or trying to take a stance at your job, we all go through that battle, and we become battle hardened. That every good and perfect gift is from above, and if it's for me, the Almighty will make room for me. If this job is for me, the Almighty will make a way for me to have that job. Brother Hill says, if the ways of man please the Almighty, he make even your enemies be at peace with you. Whether they be at peace with you because they have no choice by law, or whether they be at peace with you because they generally are cool with you, which probably not, because then they wouldn't be your enemies, right? So, that knowing that if it's from the Almighty, he'll make a way. You put those letters in, or you take your stance, or you might have to quit your job, and that job may not be for you. Some jobs just will not comply to the things of the Most High, and not cater to your beliefs or accommodate, and then you just gotta smash, take a stance. We could always get money, but you can't always get salvation. That's time. You got a time limit on that. You got a time limit on that. And so, let us seek the Most High. Let us seek the Most High. So hopefully that goes through. Be praying for this lady trying to seek the Almighty, that the Almighty will give her favor with employment, preferably in San Diego. That would be sweet. So, praise the Almighty from that. Is the sound good? Brother Vince, if you could, or Israel, if you could let me know if the sound is good. That way we know what's up. What else we got going on? I got news today. It'll be a shorter service. Waiting for a couple of you guys getting on. There's a whole bunch of people that's late to service. It's the Sabbath. Let's keep it punctual. Let's be punctual. I'm running late. It's time for me to start getting into the scriptures. So, all right, cool. Good looking out. Gotta wait. I don't know how Sister Whitney, Sister Keturah, late to service. Sister Gia, late to service. How you been, Israel? You been all right, Izzy? Holding it down? Brother Vince is on. Brother Vince, waiting. We'll give it a couple more minutes for the laters to get on. You got one job to do, or 3 jobs to do on the Sabbath. Assemble, eat, and sleep. Rest. That's all you gotta do. There we go. You didn't. Hey, if you don't say shalom, how am I gonna know? Your comment is a witness. We need 2 witnesses, right? Your comment is a witness that you're on. No comment, no witness. So, no comment, no witness. So, I got you. I didn't see it. Maybe I didn't see the likes. All right, cool. It's about time. Hopefully Sister Judy gets on. You did send me the shout outs through text message. That's not being on. All right, welcome to True Hebrews United of the Almighty Yeshua, the only begotten of the Father, giving all glory to the Father, Yah, through his Son, Yeshua HaMashiach. He's the only door. No one could go to the Father but by the Son. So, definitely give praise and glory to him, the one that gives us employment, that gives us immune system, that gives us health, that gives us happiness and joy and peace. Definitely give all glory and praise and reverence to him. It says reverence is his name. Now, no reverend referring to a person. Reverence means the greatest honor. Reverence is his name. He gets the greatest honor. So definitely double honor to the apostles, the prophets, evangelists, the teachers, the elders, the bishops, the deacons, preaching this word. I am not the only one. I keep saying you got to find a congregation. You cannot save yourself. You cannot baptize yourself. You need to find a group of people. Pray and fast to see where the Almighty wants to plant you. You might find a congregation in your city, highly unlikely. In your state, mildly likely, but it might not even be in your state. Find a congregation that's in truth. Plant yourself in that vineyard and work for the Most High, trying to be the salt of the earth and be the light of the world to save souls and save your own self. So, definitely thank the brothers and sisters. Keep the commandments, the statutes, the judgments, the precepts, the ways. All the people on the Facebook and YouTube that share, like, and subscribe to the channels. Appreciate you guys. Please jump to the YouTube. If you only know it's on Facebook, True Hebrews United of the Lord Yeshua. Like a couple of the videos, subscribe, and watch Let Us Some play while you're driving and whatnot. Let's get some hours in there. Let's get the algorithm going. Even the True Hebrews United, let a video play. Pick a random video, let a video play. Put some likes, put some comments. Let's get that algorithm going, because that's going to be pretty soon our main source of outreach. We're going to be pushing the YouTube very hard in probably the next 12 months to a year. It's going to be hard. You're going to see a lot of changes with True Hebrews United. We already see the changes coming. We know it's coming. We're going to be pushing the line in the trenches even harder. So be prepared. This is going to come like a storm. We're going to jump out the car running. So praise the Almighty. Almighty's linking certain people on our path to do certain work, and let the Almighty's will be done. So, also, I think that's it. So, with all that said and being done, let's let the fingers do the walking and the scriptures do the talking. So, last Sabbath, we dealt with perseverance in the storm. And whether you're built upon the rock or you're built upon the sand, that we go through the storm. It's saying a slow connection. Hopefully the connection's good. I don't know what's up. So, I want to add on to that, since it's a news day. It's not really perseverance, but it's really understanding that a scenario that seems bad may be a blessing. But I got to do the news today, so this adds to it. So not only is just the perseverance, but realizing not everything bad that comes our way is actually bad. It's for our benefit. And then bringing that to the last point in a little bit. Go ahead and give me Genesis chapter 41. Genesis chapter 41. Verse 41. Genesis 41, verse 41. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, see, I have set thee over all the land of Egypt. And Pharaoh took off the ring of his hand, and he put it upon Joseph's hand, and arrayed him in the vestures of fine linen, and put gold and chain about his neck. This is when he came out of the prison. And he made him ride upon the second chariot which he had, and he cried before him, bow the knee, and he made him rule over all the land of Egypt. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, I am Pharaoh, and without them no man shall lift up his hand or foot in all the land of Egypt. So he went from being betrayed by his brethren, being sold to a merchant man. The merchant man sold him to another man as a slave, rising up just to get thrown right back down in prison, rising up in prison, spending years in prison. And then from the day he got out of prison, now he's second in command. Now, the Almighty did all that. Now, during that whole time, I'm pretty sure he didn't like his scenario of being a slave. He didn't like his scenario of being in prison, being an innocent man that had done nothing, and now he's in a prison. He didn't like the situation that he was betrayed by his brethren. He didn't like any of that. He would never see his dad again, never see his mom again. He don't know. He was in prison. He didn't know the future, right? So all those thoughts going through his head, and he didn't like his condition. Now let's go to Genesis 45. So when he was made, and I'm not going to ruin the story, but when he was made second in command, Israel, also known as Jacob, there was a famine in the land. So he sent Joseph's 12 brothers to go to Egypt for food because he interpreted the dream, 7 years of plenty, 7 years of famine. During the famine, you could eat off the 7 years if you put a tenth behind, keep a tenth behind. That's why you should always save money for a rainy day. But anyways, so the brothers came and he recognized his brothers, but his brothers didn't recognize him. And so he was trolling them and keeping stuff and said, oh, I'm keeping one son behind your spies. And he brought him back and he put money in his hand and his youngest brother's bag. And he says, you guys were trying to steal from me. And he was trolling his brother, but he couldn't hold back and he revealed himself. So this is Genesis 45 verse 1. Then Joseph could not refrain himself before all that stood before him. And he cried because every man to go out from the room, and there stood no man with him, but Joseph made himself known unto his brother, and he wept aloud, and the Egyptians of the house heard. And Joseph said, brethren, I am Joseph, doth my father yet live? And his brother could not answer, for they were troubled at his presence. And Joseph said unto his brother, come near unto me, I pray you. And they came near, and he said, I am Joseph, your brother, whom you sold into Egypt. Now therefore be not grieved, nor angry with yourselves, that you sold me here, for the Almighty did send me before you to preserve life. For these 2 years have famine been in the land, and yet 5 years in which there shall neither be earing nor harvest. And God sent me before you to preserve you and the prosperity in the earth, to save your lives by a great deliverance. So we see that he went all the way into slavery, all the way into prison to be second in command, to interpret the dream, to save life, and to be there for not only his brother, but his mom and his dad. So all that situation, but in the midst of that situation, he thought this was bad. Why is this stuff happening to me? And we question, especially when we're young in the Most High, we're like, man, if I'm keeping the commandments. I remember when I was super poor, I first stopped selling drugs, and I got a job paying like $8.50 an hour. And I was hauling up concrete, and I was struggling, dude. I was super poor. And I'll go on my prayer walks, and I walk by houses, and you see these nice houses with big trucks and some jet skis or a boat or a mobile home, and you see these people living sinner lives, doing things, and you just wonder, like, how is it that I'm struggling and these people are giving you the middle finger every single day? And yet it seems like you bless them more. I mean, to the eyes, like David says, hey, when I seen the prosperity, of the wicked, it says my foot will have well nigh slipped. I almost wanted to go to the dark side, because when I seen the prosperity of the wicked, even Jeremiah says, why do the wicked prosper? And then you look at your condition and you're struggling and you're keeping the commandments. And some of the reason why you're keeping the commandments, why you're struggling, is because you're keeping the commandments. It's because you can't get that job and you can't work that overtime, because you keep the Sabbath, because your job's not going to promote you, because they don't like the fact that you're taking feast days off. And whether you get approval, you got to put it in ahead of time, and then it's got to get approved. And if you don't get approved, hey, I'm still taking the day off. Whether you approve it or not, I'm taking this day off because this is the key. It's the feast days and whatnot. And you go through all this stuff and don't like your condition. Whether you're going through marital problems because you're keeping the commandments. The husband don't want to believe the Bible, or the wife don't want to believe the Bible, and it's causing contentions. And your marriage was fine until you came to truth. As soon as you came to truth, now your marriage is on the rocks. But he says they thought it was for evil. He thought that position, him being in that prison, and just every day in a prison, and then don't know what's going on, don't know the greater plan. And he's right where the Almighty wants him. to say, if you sacrifice 7 or 8 years of your life, would someone do that to know that they're going to be second in command in Egypt later on? To know if you sacrifice, like I'm in a similar position. To get out of Babylon, there's certain sacrifices I made, but it's going to put me in a position to where I could retire at 42, 45, or 42. Let's just say 42, right? That I make the sacrifice now to where I don't have to work till I'm 55, that I'm going to be possibly the first one in my family to retire. My mom is still working. My dad is still working. All of my siblings still working. I'm going to be the first one to retire out of my family. Would someone make that sacrifice? You know? And no, I'm not 42, by the way. But anyways, so let's go on to another scripture. I'll tell you about this story real quick, because I do need to get the news. I got sent to this job, and there's 5 companies at this job. I'm going to go fast. And I got sent to the one company not paying the $5 incentive, so you get $5 extra an hour. And they were doing overtime, doing 10s. And so I was making $500 less a week. And I know Sister Couture and Brother Vince, they knew I was hot, dude. I was like, out of every company that I could have got dispatched to, because the union, you can't control what company that you get dispatched to. When they call you out, you know, and you go to that company. So it's not like you could pick and choose. So I was like, out of every company, I am the one journeyman out of this whole job site making $500 less, because I was the only traveler at this company too. I'm making $500 less. And I was hot for over a month. But come to find out, 2 or 3 months later, the jobs start winding down for the install, and they start laying off all the travelers because half the job got canceled. But our job is extremely busy for the next year. And so now they start, because people are going to say no to overtime, they're going to start, they still pay us the incentive. I could work 10s, I could work 12s. Now it's good. Now imagine if I just complained. I'm like, oh, and God's, the Almighty's like, all right, that's what you want here. Go to that company. And then now you're laid off in 2 months or in 3 months. You're happy? Imagine if I did complain, but imagine if the Almighty's like, you know what? Go to that company. Go. And I was just fully thinking that the Almighty didn't trust the Almighty. And oh, that's what you want? Go ahead. And so sometimes you're in bad predicaments and you don't understand the Almighty's full plan, but it's for your benefit. It's for your benefit. So, I don't know what she's talking about. Anyways, let's keep going. Give me Esther chapter 2. Esther chapter 2. And this is where the trust of the Most High really comes in, because everyone will have this throughout their walk with the Most High. It is impossible, like he said, that offenses may come. You will be in a bad predicament for a greater plan. I'm not saying every time. Sometimes you just are sucking. If your car breaks down on the side of the road, you're just sucking. There is no greater plan. There's going to be some situation where you're just sucking. Has nothing to do with a greater plan. Your car just broke down. You got a AAA and you got to call the mechanic. And there is no greater goal. But there will be times like this where you're in these situations and you think it's bad, but it's really for your benefit. Esther chapter 2. We're going to start at verse 16. I'm not going to read the whole book. I'm going to explain it and we'll move on. Shalom, Judah, Samuel. Shalom, Judah, A. Right. So we're in Esther chapter 2. And verse 16. All right. So Esther was taken unto the king Ahasuerus in the house of the royal in the 10th month, which is the month of Tebeth, in the 7th year of his reign. And the queen loved Esther above all women, and she brought and obtained the grace of the favor in the sight more than all the virgins. And he set the royal crown upon her head and made her queen instead of Vashti. So Vashti was a queen. Then she had a little attitude because she threw her own little party. And so she got replaced and got with Esther. Now, Esther was a Hebrew, but they were in the land of the captivity, right? So she was set in this position. All right. So then we're going to jump on to chapter 3. We'll jump to chapter 3. After these things did the king Yeshua promote Haman, the son of Hammedatha, the Agagite, to advance him and set his seat above all the princes that were before him. And the king's servants were the king's gate bowed and reverenced Haman, for the king had so commanded concerning. But Mordecai, which is Esther's uncle, Mordecai bowed not, nor did not reverence him. And the king's servant, which he had made the king's gate, said to Mordecai, Why transgressed thou the king's commandment? Now it came to pass when they spake daily unto them, that he hearkened not unto them. And he told Haman, See whether Mordecai's manners would stand, for he had told them that he was a Jew. And when Haman saw that Mordecai bowed not, nor did reverence him, then Haman was full of wrath, and he thought to scorn and lay hands on Mordecai alone, for he had shewed him the people of Mordecai. Wherefore Haman sought to destroy all the Jews that were round about, and the whole kingdom of Shurif, even to the people of Mordecai. For the first month, that is, in the month of Nisan, in the 12th year of King Ahasuerus, they cast pur, that is, the lot, before Haman from day to day, and from month to month, to the 12th month, that is, the month of Adar. And Haman said unto the king of Shurif, that certain people scattered abroad, dispersed among the people in all the provinces of the kingdom, their laws are diverse from the people, neither did they keep the king's law. Therefore it is not for the king's profit to serve them. If it please the king, let it be written that they may be destroyed, and I will pay 10,000 talents of silver in the hands of those that have charge over this business, to bring it into the king's treasury. And the king took his ring from off his hand and gave it to Haman, the son of Hammedatha, the Agagite, the Jews. And the king said it to Haman, the silver that is given unto the people also, to do with them as it seemed good. Then were the king's scribe called on the 13th day of the first month, day before the Passover, and they were written according to all that Haman had did, and commanded the king's lieutenants and the governors that were every province, and to the rulers of all the people, every province according to the writing thereof, and every people after the language. And the name of the king of Shurif was written and is sealed in the king's ring, and sent letters by the post in all the king's provinces, to destroy, to kill, and to cause to perish all the Jews, young and old, little children, women, in one day, even upon the 13th day of the 12th month, in which is the month of Adar, and take the spoil of them for a prey. So there was a commandment that got sent out to kill all the Jews in all the provinces of the Babylonian kingdom, right? Prophets went out, right? And so they all fasted. But the Almighty set this situation. Look at the outcome of this situation. Let's read chapter 8. Chapter 8. Verse 5. Now, so Esther, the Hebrew, comes. I'm going to fast forward this. Esther, the Hebrew woman, when she came to the king and threw a couple of parties for the king and said, hey, this guy is trying to kill my people. And then they found out that the uncle saved the king's life. And so now Haman, the one that was trying to kill all the Jews, he ended up going to get put to death. But look what happens at the outcome of this. On the day, this is Esther chapter 5. Esther chapter 8, verse 5. And it said, if it please the king, if I found favor in thy sight, that this thing seemed to be right before the king, and if it's the pleasing in his eyes, let it be written and reverse the letters by Haman the son of Hammedatha the Agagite, which he wrote to destroy the Jews and all the kings. How can I endure to see the evil of this come upon my people? Or how can I endure to see the destruction of my kindred? And the king of Shurif said unto Esther the queen, to Mordecai the Jew, behold, I have given Esther and Haman unto him that have hang upon the gallows, because he laid his hands upon the Jews. So now Haman got put to death. Now I'm going to read verse 9 of chapter 9. Now in the 12th month, that is the month of Adar, on the 13th day of the same, when the king's commandment decreed to put the execution in the day of the enemies of the Jews, hoped to have power over them, though it was turned to the contrary, that the Jews have rule over them that hated them. And the Jews gathered themselves together in the cities throughout all the provinces, and the king of Shurif, to lay hands on such that sought their hurt. No man could withstand them, for the fear fell upon them of all people, and all the rulers and the provinces and the lieutenants and the deputies and the officers helped the Jews, because the fear of Mordecai fell upon them. For Mordecai was great in the king's house, and his fame went out through all the provinces. For this man Mordecai waxed greater and greater. Thus the Jews smote all the enemies with the stroke of the sword and the slaughter and destruction, and they did what they would unto those that hated them. In Shushan the palace the Jews slew and destroyed 500 men. So, out of this bad situation, which the Jews fasted and whatnot, they actually got more freedom and more liberty. It says even the Gentiles, some of them became Jews because of this bad situation. And so you're going to be in bad situations and you don't understand the bigger picture. When our kids want to go to a party, and you say, no, you can't go to the party. Or you say, you can't hang out with these kids. Oh, I don't see why I can't hang out. That's my friend. They don't see the bigger picture. You're going to be put in a predicament with these kids that's going to get you in trouble. You can't go to this party because you're going to be subject to date rape drugs, or you're going to be subject to violence, or you're going to step on someone's shoes and he got some brand new shoes and you say, my bad, but my bad ain't going to cut it, and he wants to jump you. Him and his friend wants to jump you. You're going to be at that party and there's gang members and you're not in a gang, but another gang will come and just shoot up the whole house and you got hit with a bullet. There's a bigger picture to that. And we don't understand that. Just like your kids don't understand the bigger picture of why you tell them not to go chase the ball in the middle of the street, or why you don't let them do certain things, or why they can't have a limited amount of candy, why they need to learn how to save money, why you need to learn how to work for these items. I can't give it to you. And how to prevent, the kids from taking on bad habits. As you see a post, this girl was spoiled and destroys his father's Porsche, or takes advantage of his father's Porsche, and they're spoiling the kid. A kid spoiled is a direct revelation of the parents. I wouldn't even get mad at a spoiled kid. Even if they're an adult and they're 20 years old and they're spoiled and they're entitled, I'm going to look at the parents. There's no way you didn't see they just turned 18 and they just became spoiled and entitled. You didn't see this when they were 17 or 16 or 14 or 12. You didn't see when they were 8 years old or they were 10 years old and they get mad at your Christmas. I see those videos because they didn't get the PlayStation, or they didn't get the game they want, so they toss down the presents and storm to their room because they didn't get the toy they want. Regardless if you can afford it or not, they feel that they're entitled. In Christmas, I'm going to throw a tantrum. We shouldn't be selling. I do not condone Christmas, but you see these kids throwing tantrums simply because they didn't get the gift they want, right? You didn't see these red flags. You didn't correct these behaviors when they're young, and then you grew up and you created a monster. In like manner, the Almighty puts these situations, because how do you be thankful if you were given everything as a child? You're not going to be thankful. You're going to be entitled and be spoiled. So you think the Almighty's, how are we going to be thankful for Him blessing us with financial or monetary gains if we've never struggled? It says there's a time to gain, there's time to lose. And not every bad situation that the Almighty brings your way is meant to destroy you. It's actually for your blessing. It's for your blessing. And sometimes we don't get it. A lot of people fall to the wayside because they're like right around the corner from a blessing. And I'm not trying to be a prosperity preacher, but I'm saying that everything that happens in our life, whether the storm that comes our way and or you're just put in a bad position at this present time, will yield good results. Because if this situation didn't happen to Esther, they still would have been oppressed. Yeah, they wouldn't have been killed. There wasn't an order to kill them all, but they still would have been oppressed. Now they have respect and honor amongst all these other nations because Mordecai is in office and because the generals were helping the people, the Jews. And it says people became Jews through this situation. If this situation didn't happen, they would have been in a worse situation. If I didn't get stick to this company called ABM, I would not be making as much money as I am right now. I would not. So the immediate, adversity that we go through isn't always bad. It could be good. Another situation. We were in line trying to file our taxes. And my wife had to file her taxes. And there is, I think, a racist dude that was doing everything they can to avoid serving her. So it was like, man, we're going to wait. Forget that. you're going to serve us. Because he was trying to skip and trying to leave to the office. And you could tell he didn't want to serve us. So he went to the office and it was a tax guy. And so we ended up going to this other lady, and the other lady hooked us up, dude. The other lady seen that and was like, this and this and this. Man, we're only going to charge you this. Normally we charge this. And I was mad because it's like, nah. That racist dude couldn't like the fact that they had to serve a black person, right? And it's like, no, you're going to serve us. This is your job. You're going to serve us, right? And had I pushed the issue and just waited and waited, he probably would have overcharged us. He probably would have overcharged us. We can't tell what H&R Block charges. No, that's not what you normally charge, because every price is different based upon your tax return and based upon, So he could have overcharged us. But then we went to them and we got the hookup. And it was like, praise the Almighty. We needed that bad situation. It could be a situation that your flight got delayed 2 hours and now you get a voucher for some free food or get a hotel or do this, or you get the next flight and you get $500 on your following flight. So you're like, praise the Almighty, that delay helped me out. Not all bad situations is bad. Let's read some of this. Like the 18-year-old that went out to the New Year's celebration against her parents' request and was killed. That's crazy. So, let's get the shout-outs, and then we got a couple more scriptures, and I do got to get in some news today because I'm lacking on the news, so I'll speed this up. All right, shout-outs. This will happen to you guys. You will be in a bad predicament, and it would yield great results if you get through it. Amira, Gia, Vince, Katura, Amber, Leah, Gio A. Wright, or Gino A. Wright, Manaya, Occupate, Howard, Damari, Vincent, Joshua, Izzy, Cha-Cha, Kamari, Ariel, Nava, Kashev, and Zahara, and Zadek, and Katura, with me. I appreciate you guys. I want you guys to make it into the kingdom. Please find a congregation. Do what you need to do to be saved. The lone wolf starves to death, and the lone sheep gets picked off. If you want to be the sheep by yourself, you get picked off by the wolves and the bears and the lions. If you want to be the lone wolf, wolves travel in pack for a reason. If you want to be the lone wolf starves. Starves. When the lone wolf is chasing a stray animal and it gets tired, then the other wolves keep going. And then the other wolves keep going. And they work as a pack, or they surround the animal. You don't see no wolf taking no straight large animal down by itself, unless they could get a rabbit or something. Other than that, the lone wolf starves. So Damari, you forgot Damari. I thought I said Damari. Yeah, Damari, right after Howard, but Damari again. Damari, I got you. So anyways, Acts chapter 8. Then we're going to go quick. Acts chapter 8. Verse 1. Acts chapter 8, verse 1. And Saul, this is before he became the Apostle Paul, and Saul was consenting unto his death. That was Stephen. And at that time there was great persecution against the congregation, which was at Jerusalem. And they were all scattered abroad throughout the regions of Judea and Samaria, except the apostles. So the apostles still stayed at Jerusalem, because he said he'd tarry at Jerusalem, and they were preaching the gospel at Jerusalem. But a lot of the people were persecuted. Check this out. And devout men carried Stephen to his burial and made lamentation over him. And Saul made havoc of the congregation, entering into every house, and held a man and woman, commanding them to prison. At this time, if you preach Yeshua HaMashiach, you were getting thrown in prison. But look what happened. And for Saul made havoc of the congregation, enter into every house, and hauling men and women, and committing them to prison. Therefore they were scattered abroad and went everywhere preaching the word. And if you read in Acts and that, because they came to persecute us, we left Jerusalem and went into Judea and Samaria and parts of Israel. And guess what? The word spread like a fire. All that did was just put gasoline on the fire. But to get the word out, what had to happen? You had to be persecuted. For the word to spread out during that time, persecution came, adversity came, And by that, brothers went out because they didn't want to go to prison, right? Flee. They went out and taught more people the word, and more people came to this gospel by that adversity. And that's the thing we have to understand. The Almighty's plan is bigger. It says, just like the heaven is above earth, neither his ways are ways, neither his thoughts are thoughts. His ways are not our ways, and his thoughts are not our thoughts. He has a big master plan. We have a plan for our kids. All right, we're going to get them a good education. I'm going to teach my sons the mow lawn and teach them the importance of working, the importance of saving money, the importance of discernment and relationships, having self-esteem, and being able to defend yourself. We're teaching them all these things to get them ready to be a man when they turn 20, because the age of accountability is 20, right? We plan this, and so they don't understand. When I teach my son how to fix a tire, hey, you need to fix a tire. Hey, you need to learn how to check your oil. We are prepared. I've seen a saying: a mother's job is to teach their children how to love. A father's job is to teach their children how to survive. We have two different roles, and we are equipping them with the tools to survive and produce and compete into a world that does not like them, that does not care for them. And a mother teaches them how to love and to nourish and to take care. Like when they're sick, it don't matter how tough you are. When you're 16 and you're super sick, you just want your mom. When you're 17, you could be beating people up in high school and thinking you're cool and whatnot. But let you get sick to where you're throwing up. I guarantee you, every 16 or 17, where's mom? Mom, I'm sick. Throwing up, barely could get out of bed, throwing up on the side of the bed into a bowl. Mom comes with a little rag and wipes the sweat off your face and gets you some soup and takes care of you. Yeah. They teach us how to nurture and love. You need them both, right? And so we have a bigger plan for our kids, and like, man, the Almighty has a bigger plan for us. I'm talking about the ones that's actually keeping the commandments, living holy, living righteous, living just. I'm not talking about people dipping, dabbing, really smoking weed or listening to things or doing things they shouldn't be doing. I'm talking about people truly keeping the commandments on the Almighty's payroll, that are baptized, serving the Almighty, being the light of the world, being the salt of the earth, really holding the line in the trenches, doing what they need to do, right? Almighty has a plan. All those people that aren't like that, that's trying to get there, Almighty has a plan for you, because he's going to put you in the place where you meet the right people, to where you repent and you have a home and you have brothers and sisters that's with you, right? Go ahead and give me 2 Corinthians chapter 9. We're going to go faster now. 2 Corinthians chapter 9, verse 7. It says, every man according to as he purposed in the heart, so let him give, not grudgingly or a necessity, for God loveth the cheerful giver. Now he's talking about giving to the congregation, tithes and offering, as well as giving, right? In the direct context, he's talking about giving to the congregation, to all those people that fight tithes and offering. I'll deal with that later because you make no sense. But the premise at the end, for the Almighty loves a cheerful giver. That's the point I want to give at, because we need to be able to give the Almighty the same praise and the same glory in the midst of adversity or in a bad situation. Could Joseph pray and give him the praise in prison the same way as he could give him the praise when he's second command in Egypt? When he's the second in command in Egypt, he has more money than he could spend. When he has a chariot that everyone moves out of his way, he has the respect, he has the honor, he has the status, he has the clout, he has the money that he got given a wife. Everything he wants, he has. He was at the top. There was only Pharaoh above him. He was second. There's no other above him out of all of Egypt. And he could say, thank you, Almighty, for what you've done. Thank you for the position you put me in. Could he give the Almighty the praise and be a giver? It says, give him the praise. Give him the honor he deserved when he's in the prison as well. And that's the hard part. That was the hard part when I was going through that a couple of months ago, when I seen everyone else making $500 more than me a week, $2,000 a month making more than me. That I was like, man, I need to still be a cheerful giver. I still need to give him the praise and the glory. I'm in a situation that I do not like, but the Almighty loves a chill forgiver. I still need to give him the praise and the glory. Next scripture, 1 Timothy chapter 6. He's still deserving. Like he only deserves your praise and your glory when he blesses you. Like that's like your kid only wanted us to be nice to you when you give them gifts. But if you go to the store and, hey, can I have this candy? No. Can I get this toy? No. And you come out, now they don't want to respect you because you told them no. Because they can't, because they don't like the position that they're in. Imagine that. Let's keep going. 1 Timothy chapter 6, 7. Let's get it. Verse 7. For we brought nothing into this world, and it's certain that we carry not. And it's certain that we carry nothing out. And having food and raiment, therefore be content. But they that be rich fall into the temptation of the snare and many foolish and hurtful lusts, and drown men with destruction. For the love of money is the root of all evil, which some have coveted after and erred from the faith, pierced himself with many sorrows. But thou, O man of Yah, flee these things, follow after righteousness, godliness, faith, patience, and love. Some of us at True Vision United will become very, very wealthy. But my main point with food and raiment, be there with content. Be there with content. That even when he was in the prison, or even in the second in command of Egypt, he was content. Thank you, Almighty. Almighty, I may not be in this position that I like, but I definitely give you the praise and the glory. And you're still deserving, regardless if I don't have that much food in the refrigerator. Regardless if I put $1.50 in the gas tank and hopefully that gets me to working back. Regardless of my current situation, I'm going to be consistent on giving you the praise and the glory and the honor. You think he don't know, he doesn't know you don't like your situation and your predicament? You think the Almighty doesn't know when you're broke? Your co-workers know when you broke. So you think the Almighty don't know when you broke? You don't think he's there when he sees you? I remember one time I was so broke. I went in the gas station and people came in. And I was like, oh, you can cut me. And I waited till everyone was out. And I'm like, hey, can I get 85 cents on pump number 2? I remember I was so broke. I never, to this day, I remember it was 85 cents. I forgot what pump. But people would come in and I'm like, oh, you're good. I'm act like you're still looking for something. Oh, yeah, go ahead. And then once everyone's getting out, hey, can I get 85 cents on pump number 2? And you're all embarrassed. And when I was broke. But the Almighty seen that. And now, like, even, me dealing with, like, man, I can make $2,000 more. So if you can make $500 more a week, what are you actually making a week? To where you get this extra, and it's an extra $500, then what are you really making? Even if I sit back and think about, like, dude, I'm pretty decent already. And then it's like, so be there with content. Back to the whole wealth thing. It's nothing wrong with striving, but we don't let being rich consume us. Go ahead and give a side note scripture. 1 Corinthians chapter 12. 1 Corinthians chapter 12. And we're going to start off with verse 26. It says, and whether one member suffer, all members suffer with it, or one member be honored, all members rejoice with it. And that's how we are at True Vision United. We're coming across a time where we're going to be able to do a lot of things for True, but I'm going to be called like Brother Rising Tide, because it says the rising tide lift all boats. There's no way that I'm going to do good and not rise up all my brothers and sisters at my congregation, and vice versa. And there's no way I'm just going to sit there and watch one of my brothers and sisters suffer and I not suffer with it. And we going to suffer together. You know what I'm saying? We're going to make it together. You know what I'm saying? It's the same thing. I know, Vince, I told, but it's like, say if I had an umbrella and we walking outside and it starts raining, then me and my brother's going to get wet together. I'm not going to take this umbrella and just be under the umbrella while you just getting rained on. And we ain't doing no umbrella together, because It ain't no sugar in our tank. We don't. I'm gonna be careful what I say. We ain't two men ain't sharing no umbrella. So I'll put the umbrella up. We just gonna be wet together. You know what I'm saying? We gonna be in the tunnels and the trenches together. In like manner, when we the Almighty blesses us, praise the Almighty, we're gonna make it together. All of us are gonna be eating good. You know what I'm saying? And so there's nothing wrong with striving, to be wealthy, but we don't let the desire to be rich consume us. All that's going to do is amplify how we already help brothers and sisters. You know what I'm saying? Put 5 cents on the pump. Yeah, I would do that too. If I was worked at a gas station, I'm like, I got you. Keep money on the side out here. I'm going to put an extra 5 on it. But anyways, go ahead and give me 1 Timothy chapter 6. I think we dealt with 1 Timothy chapter 6. Philippians 4. Last 2 scriptures, then we'll get into the news. Philippians 4:10. But I rejoice in the Almighty greatly, that now at the last of your care of me have flourished again, wherefore we are all careful, but ye lacked opportunity, as far as the giving part. Not that I speak in respect of want, for I have learned in whatsoever state I am, therefore be content. And that's where I think I could have did better a couple months ago. It says, I find that I've learned that whatever state I am, be content. Some of your situations is just temporarily. It could last a year. It could last 2 years. But time is not a factor with the Most High. Because you're like, well, that's 2 years of my life, or that's 7 years of my life. But the Almighty can make someone die at 82, or in their last 10 years, they're beat up. Or he can make someone go to 108 and still be sharp. Maybe not as sharp as when they're 30, but still be sharp, still be cognitive, still be able to ride a bike at 105 years old, and still be in good condition. He's the one that could preserve you. So you losing 7 years and going through this for 7 years or 5 years or 2 years and think it's a loss of years, you don't know how long he could preserve you in good shape. I've seen people at the gym that's like 65 years old still doing pull-ups. I'm talking about still doing pull-ups. 65 years old in good shape. So time is not a factor with the Most High. We make it a factor with us. We say, oh man, this condition. Like I tell you again, you never complain. We are hypocrites and spoiled children sometimes, because when the Almighty is blessing us and our pockets are fat to where we're walking like a zombie because our wallet's heavy and our pockets are doing real good, or when stuff is going good in your relationship, you never say, oh Almighty, man, you've been too good for me these last 3 years. You need to just stop blessing me. Please just stop blessing me. You've been so good. But let you get 2 months of going through some financial struggle. Oh, Almighty, when am I going to get out of it? Oh, man, this is too, let you go. But you will never say, stop blessing me, Almighty. Stop giving me more money and giving me promotions and giving me these good cars. You never complain about that. It's only when we're going through it, you want the time to be done real quick. He's not a genie. He's not a genie. We don't just rub a lamp and say, Almighty, bless me, and he just got to jump on the whim. He's our Father, our Heavenly Father, And just like we don't spoil our kids, why would he spoil us? You spoil your kids with candy, cavities come, right? So what do you think is going to happen? Entitlement comes. I remember we had a maid come 2 or 3 times a week, and we told our kids to clean. And one of our kids said, can't we just have the maid do it? And this little one needed to get the backhand. Because that's entitlement and selfishness. I remember one time they came and they had like 5 different cereal boxes open. And I was like, what in the world is wrong with you kids? Like, you're going to just burn through, I don't like this cereal. I get this cereal locked. No, you're only 2 boxes open. Spoiled. You're doing the whole time. That's good stuff. So, I think we got one more scripture. Give me Thessalonians chapter 5. Thessalonians chapter 5. Actually, while you get 2 Thessalonians chapter 5, I'm going to read the rest of Philippians. I've learned that whatsoever state I am, that there work be content. For I know how both to be abased and how to abound. And everywhere in all things I am instructed, both to be full and to be hungry, both to abound and to suffer lack, to suffer need. To find whatever state I am, give the Almighty the glory and be content. With food and raiment, let us be content, right? So, last scripture, 2 Thessalonians chapter 5. Verse 18. It says, in everything give thanks, for this is the will of the Most High in Amashiach, Yeshua, concerning you. In everything give thanks. That means in the bad times, that means in the good times. And to realize, like, I don't know what's going on, but this might be for my benefit. Let's say you lose your job. And let's say you're going to interviews. And let's say all this stuff is going, you're looking for jobs and whatnot. What if by chance the Almighty wants to get you a job in San Diego by chance? I'm just saying. You know, I'm not saying that's what it is, but let's just say, right? Maybe you need bad things to happen to get you to San Diego, to get a job in San Diego. I don't know. I'm not just saying that. I'm just throwing that out there. I'm not saying that's the Almighty's will. But anyways, but we know that certain situations happen for our benefit and for our salvation. So let us press. So, with all that said and being done, give the Almighty a hand clap, and then we're going to get into some news right now. So, the LA fires, where do we begin? Supposedly these people are starting these fires, and I believe there's probably people starting these fires. They actually caught one, and they gave him to the police, and the police released the guy that was starting the fires for some reason. Some of them could be laser fires like the Hawaii, and we've had laser fires in California before. You know, they already turned off the water years before. A lot of the insurance company left a year or two before insurance company left the state, as well as they canceled fire insurance before, almost like they knew something because they did it simultaneously. So to get the snow water from Canada, Gavin Newsom denied it for some fish reasons, but we could have got yearly water from Canada, from upstate. So they're putting that ice water, the melted winter water, goes into the Pacific Ocean instead of coming to California. There is nothing else he could have done to make the situation worse. Every single thing he's done has made it worse. Meaning he couldn't have done anything extra to make it worse than what he's already did. He maxed out in making the fires worse. If people are stealing fire extinguishers and the water's coming out of them, they're just stealing them just to make a point. Like, look, I'm taking your fire extinguisher out of the ground. They're just stealing them as a mockery to Gavin Newsom and how we don't have water. And he knew what he's doing. This is a land grab. There are people that have $30 million homes that aren't going to get covered. The banks are insolvent. What you're going to do with this? So you think the bank has billions of dollars to cover all these insurance claims? They are going to try to lowball you or deny as many claims as possible. It's same thing as Flint. These people in Flint, they got poisoned by lead poisoning. It's been like 10 years. They're still waiting to get their payout because they knew that there was lead in the water, and people were taking showers in lead, cooking their rice in lead, because you know tap water, you boil your rice, cooking, cleaning, showering in lead and getting lead poisoning, and they're still waiting for this class action law. The mayor knew about this. The mayor knew. Don't forget about Flint. We just forgot about it, but remember they knew that there was lead in the water, in the municipal water, and these people got lead poisoning, and they're still not paying these people off. So these people are going to be done. Those people in mobile homes that were just written the land, but their mobile homes got wiped out, they're done. You don't get insurance like that on a mobile home, they're done. They're homeless. Like, imagine you have a job and you have your mobile home, and you're paying $800 a month to live on the mobile home thing. It gets burned out. All you got is a job, and you got to start from scratch. Imagine you have a house that you paid off 20, 30 years. You put $30,000 down payment. You've been paying your mortgage, and all of a sudden your house is wiped out and you're not covered. They just ate like 15 years of your life is gone. Everything inside that house, besides your car, if you weren't even there, you evacuated. What your suitcases you have in your car is gone. 15 years of your life is gone. And they did that on purpose to do a land grab. You will own nothing and be happy. There is no national emergency that is not planned. Rather, is with the exception of maybe a tornado, which it wouldn't surprise me if they know how to steer tornadoes a certain way now, because we know they do it with storms. North Carolina, we know that they shoot ions in the atmosphere, and in a storm that's going this way, they could shoot an ion over here and push through the ions. They'll push the storm. DARPA, look this up. And they'll send a storm an opposite direction. They'll be going this way. They'll send a plane and shoot the ions in the atmosphere and then guide it the opposite way. They've been doing this. Look this up. So, controlling weather is since Vietnam. They even do crop seeding to where they could cause rain. So you could look at all this stuff. This ain't even like a rabbit hole. This is like they just openly admitting that they're doing this stuff, right? So, every emergency, I wouldn't surprise me if they're controlling earthquakes now. Majority is man-made, and they're doing this on purpose. And watch BlackRock and JP Morgan buy all this land on pennies of the dollar, like they did to Hawaii, like they gave Hawaii $700, and North Carolina $700, and they're going to give the people in LA $700. Look it up. There you go. Here's $700. You know that $1 million house you had? Here's $700, and you're not insured. Some of them may be insured, but I know it's hard. Now the next people that insure them, they said that their insurance will cost more than their mortgage. So is that going to influence people or promote people to buy houses? No. So who's going to develop? BlackRock, hedge funds, JP Morgan. You will own nothing and be happy. They are getting rid of homeowners because that's one of the last level of independence. If they get rid of cash, that's your independence, where I could go anywhere and I could buy what I want without you tracking me and stopping and freezing my account. Because if I put it in the bank, you can freeze my account. But if I have cash and I'm a homeowner, but now they're taking that right away too. Watch. That's not the only city. But be careful. Capital One, which I have a Capital One account. You know what I'm saying? I have a Capital One account. They froze like 4,000 people's bank accounts, which a lady tried to come to the truth told me about. But I was like, oh, I got a Capital One account. They've been doing this for, I think I've been teaching this like 22, 23, 24. More banks are going insolvent and they've been freezing people's accounts. Wells Fargo is known for freezing people's accounts when they don't have the money. And know what they say? Oh, suspicious. They won't even tell you why. They say suspicious activity. And then they won't tell you what suspicious activity. I get direct deposit. I try to pull money out to pay rent or pay bills. When they don't have the money, they're going to freeze your account and say suspicious activity. To prevent money laundering or identity fraud or blah, blah, blah. They can shoot any excuse out to you. At the end of the day, you can't get your money. It don't matter what excuse they get. They're not like, whether you go in person and show your ID and show your birth certificate. It don't matter what you do. They are not going to give you your money. So let's keep going. Diddy's home was gone. Mel Gibson, the one that started leaking all the information and being a whistleblower, his house burned down too. So let's go with the bail-in. We're talking about the bail-ins in a little bit. So a bailout in 2008, 2009, the banks were going insolvent because the market crashed, because they sent out too many subprime loans where you could just state how much you make and didn't have to prove your income, and it caused a crash. So the government came and just gave them money to cover it and bail them out, which all the other businesses didn't get bailed out. That collapsed with that. So now we'll call a bail-in, which there was a meeting that was linked between all these head guys of all these banks saying, we can't tell the public that their money's not safe in the bank. Yeah, it would collapse it earlier. So, bail-in. Let's see what's up. Can a bail-in happen? A bail-in happen is to prevent banks from going insolvent. Instead of the government giving money, they just take all the people's money in the accounts. Yes, banks can bail in to save themselves through the process called a bail-in. A bail-in is a legal process that allows a failing bank to cancel all debts owed to creditors and depositors. because you're considered an unsecured creditor. So whether they go bankrupt or they do a bail-in, they could take your asset. When you sign that paperwork, once your money's in with their bank, it's pretty much their possession. Watch, read the fine print. Go back to your contract. This process requires creditors to take on losses, which can help prevent the government from having to bail out the bank. So because they gave out more loans, and they all the car loans, all the house loans, because they made bad financial decisions, the depositors do that. And this is why so many of these companies almost force you to get direct deposit and not want to give you a check, because you can't just go to the liquor store. Remember when the liquor store used to be your check cash and it used to be your bank account? You give them there, they give you cash and take like $6 and whatnot. They frown upon direct deposit. They do not like handing out checks because you have power. You could just cash a check and take it out. I like to cash this check and get my money right away. Not, oh, I want to deposit it and now I got to go through your ATM, and now I come a couple weeks later and I want to get my money and they got to put it on pause, and this suspicious behavior that freezes your account. They're trying to take that power away. They are trying to get rid of the middle class. What do the middle class have? They own homes. They're getting rid of the homes. They're trying to make it to where homes owners become less and less, and there's more renters than home owners. They're taking all your freedoms away. So the bail-in is legal. Two major banks collapsed 2024. More banks are insolvent, and a whole bunch of banks collapsed in 2023. I always tell you, have 2 bank accounts and have one of those be a credit union. I've always been saying that. Only put your bill money in there. Keep your stuff in assets. Let's say if you have assets, let's just say silver, right? Or let's say even your paycheck. You have the option to turn in another routing number and say, can you stop sending my money to Capital One and start sending my paychecks to this bank because this bank's tripping? Or let's say you say, you know what, I got extra money. What do I want to do? I could keep it in cash, or I could go buy some silver. Let me go buy some silver. You just buy a whole bunch of silver. At any given time, you can go back, cash the silver at a place that collects silver or gold, and put it in this bank account. Or you can have cash on hand, right? And check to cash it. So put in an asset, decrease your debts. I already dealt with that. The whole TikTok ban. Hopefully we don't get a TikTok ban, because a lot of information, a lot of news I do get on TikTok. They say national security. They've been spying on us for years. I'm not worried about China spying on me. I'm worried about my own government spying on me. So hopefully it doesn't. We'll see what's up. It'll be harder. I always say BitChute. BitChute. Let's see if I can put a BitChute image on here. And they be trying to fight BitChute, man. They fight. If I even put a video on BitChute, they be trying to go and immediately block my video and then shadow ban me. Why isn't it bringing it up? Bear with me. Let me redo it. I'm trying to put up images and it keeps taking me straight to the website. There we go. All right. Let's see, that's it. That's your website. If you want to get the news, what's going on, BitChute. Check that website out. All right. BitChute. You'll get all the whistleblowers and everything right now. That's how you get the news. So, hopefully it doesn't. Facebook said, oh, we're going to get rid of the fact checkers. So, because the fact checkers, they be lying on the whole vaccination garbage and whatnot, and they'll cancel anything you say about Bill Gates. But it doesn't matter, because in the other mouth, he said that we're going to have more AI false accounts, where AI is having pictures of people you think they're real people than actual real people. They're going to use AI, and AI will silence you, because in all these, you get 100, say you get 100 dislikes or frown faces or whatnot on your video, because they're all by AI bots, and so people think that you're lying. And then they say, that's not true because of this. That's not true. They'll just use AI to replace fact checkers. That's all that's going to happen. They're going to push their narrative through AI, and they're going to push it. And because people don't believe mainstream media, they believe people. So we'll set up AI to mimic people. And when the majority of people is saying this, I'm going to believe it true because I don't believe mainstream media, because mainstream media is bad, which it is. But now you're going to believe the people, but the people ain't even people. They're AI. So don't be fooled just because Mark Zuckerberg's getting rid of the Facebook or getting rid of the fact checkers on Facebook and Instagram. They're just going to use AI to do the same thing. So, praise the Almighty. Whatever situation, whatever state you are, be there with content. With all that said, being done, keep standing. Don't drop standards. Give the Almighty a hand clap. Shalom.